My name is Engineer Sir Emmanuel Mbaka. Well, Flatme Mortgage Bank, as the name implies, it's a mortgage bank. We set up in 2006 with the sole purpose of providing affordable houses to the Nigerian people. We also get involved in commercial activities such as retail banking and mortgage banking and financing of real estate development as well. The business has been in upward movement. I recall we started the business with a negative shareholders fund of about 30 million, and within the period we have been able to steadily grow the bank to a sizable balance sheet. And we actually started the bank with just 2 branches, one in Odulami in Lagos and the second branch in Badagry. I'm proud to say that today we have close to 18 branches across the whole country. Well, I would say that the reception of Nigerians, to the concept of mortgage banking is really relatively very small due to the lack of education of the average Nigerian on their capacity and ability to access houses via mortgage. Nigerians are used to cash purchase of houses. However, as many as had come in contact with us in our various locations, we have assisted them to own their various houses. I must say, Flatme Mortgage Bank, since inception, has assisted over 20,000 Nigerians to own their own houses across the whole country. And majority of the applicants that we have are civil servants, especially the middle class. You can agree with me that in Nigeria, the middle class concept is almost going into extinction. So it's either you are down there or you are just up there. So I think part of the objective of our organization is to recreate the middle class, which is almost going into extinction. Well, mortgage banking is all about the ability of individuals to own their own houses through mortgage facilities. We provide the mortgage with which you use to buy these houses. The individuals are encouraged to save up to between 10 to 20% of what we term the equity, which is their own contribution towards the purchase of the house. So when you have located a house which you want to purchase, and you approach the mortgage arm, and then we evaluate the houses to ensure that you get right price for those houses. The individuals are now made to pay 20% equity, that is their own contribution towards the ownership of the house. Our bank has the responsibility to offer you between 70 to 90% of the value of those properties. Of course, the question will be who are qualified to access those mortgage facilities. Of course, you must be a Nigerian, and you also have to be above 21 years. And you must have a verifiable sources of income, and you must have also a steady flow of income so that you can keep up with your repayments. Well, there are multitude of problems that are being faced, but I'll just take the ones that are most relevant and most touchy. We'll talk about mortgage banking. We want to talk about housing development and housing needs. You cannot create mortgages out of nothing. You have to create mortgages where you have a mortgage product. So the basic problem that we have in this sector is the availability of the mortgage product, which is the houses. And there are so many factors that are militating against the production of these houses. One of those are availability of land, and then availability of long-term funding that are being used for the estate development. And you agree with me that funds are scarce all over the world. And in the sector, we had advocated that the government should come to our aid by making the funds available for real estate developers so that they can develop affordable houses. There are other factors affecting the production of houses, and that includes the building materials, the cost of cement, the cost of aluminum, and so on and so forth. So when you put all that together, they constitute part of the problems that we have. We at the mortgage bank here are very willing to offer mortgages, but the unavailability of the mortgage products have become a major challenge, which is an issue we are working out with the government towards addressing. First, we do due diligence. We conduct due diligence on each and every applicant who intend to take a loan from our institution to ensure that they are credible persons. Above all, the mortgage product, which is the house with which you intend to buy into, provides the security. You never have access to the documentations of those properties until such a time that you have finished the payment. So that gives us some respite, So having the documents of those properties gives us respite. So where the individuals prove difficult in the repayment, we have the option to offload those houses by auctioning them, and then providing other Nigerians their ability to also buy into those properties. Well, it wasn't as if there is a transition. Okay. It's about my flair. I started with banking. Immediately I left school. And I can also assure you that within Platinum Mortgage Bank, I have about 3 engineers who are also mortgage bankers. And I believe the engineers are more meticulous persons when it comes to handling money. We handle the money the way we're handling engineering parameters. Well, I was a usual guy. I grew up on just like every other guy, I played street football, I walked to school. I wasn't driven to school. I walked to school. I did everything. I mean, you can imagine a young person can do, My growing up was quite eventful. My parents gave me opportunity. I wasn't overprotected. I mixed up. We lived in a premises where you have other people. We didn't have the exclusivity of living in a whole house. We interacted with other people that, shared same facilities with us. So I can say that it was very usual, my growing up. I think that question keeps coming up from time to time. Inspiration for me is hard work. If I see anyone who is working very hard, I am inspired. And if I work hard myself, I'm inspired. So I draw my inspiration from hard work. From my name, you know that I'm a Christian, Emmanuel. Jesus is with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you worship, sir?
I am multi-faced parishioner in Abuja. I worshipped in more than 5 different parishes, and I can't just name them. Okay. So I don't have any specific, a parish where I do worship, but I know I worship in over 5 parishes, and I play my role regularly, like a regular parishioner. Well, I know my parents were Catholic, my father, my mother. I grew up being a Catholic, was baptized in the Catholic. I attended the normal catechism, received Holy Communion. I also went through confirmation, and I grew up all my life. I've been a Catholic, married a Catholic, wedded in the Catholic Church, and I think among all the societies, I belong to the Sacred Heart. Okay. And of course, by default, we're all members of CW as CSCMO, yes. I think the advice I have for them is on one, being steadfast, and also putting your trust in God, and also knowing that God is never directed. God does his own thing at his own time. So you must have a virtue of being patient. So that's my main advice to young Catholics, that they have to be very, very patient and have hope and never lose hope, and have faith and never lose faith. It could be anywhere. Okay. But I would just say that the rate of development of the mortgage subsector has been rather very slow. And its slowness can be attributed to the fact that we need to get the right persons in the right places to be able to put the right policies to drive the mortgage subsector. This sector, when you combine the mortgage sector with the real estate sector, it has capacity to drive any economy. All over the world, it's been the real sector and the mortgage sector that have driven most third world countries into first world. You have countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai. These are all third world countries at some point. They are now first world countries. You look into the background of these countries, they were driven from the real estate sector and the mortgage sector, not the oil sector. Such could also happen to Nigeria. So I believe, given the right caliber of persons and the right policies, this sector, the mortgage sector and the real estate sector, can drive Nigeria to its destination. My philosophy is being straight, with people, being straight with organizations, being straight with life, and being straight in whatever you do.